The Kashmir dispute began in 1947 when British India was divided into India and Pakistan. The ruler of the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir chose to join India after armed fighters entered the region, while Pakistan rejected that decision. The first war between the two countries followed, and the territory was eventually split by a ceasefire line that later became the line of control. Today, because both India and Pakistan possess nuclear weapons, Kashmir remains one of the world's most closely watched border disputes.
The borders between Israel and a future Palestinian state have remained unresolved for decades. The dispute centers on the West Bank, East Jerusalem, and the Gaza Strip. These territories changed hands after several wars in the 20th century, and both Israelis and Palestinians see parts of the land as central to their history, identity, and future. Different peace proposals have suggested different borders, but no lasting agreement has been reached. As a result, the question of where one state ends and the other begins remains at the heart of the conflict.
Bolivia lost its coastline to Chile during the War of the Pacific in the late 19th century. Since then, Bolivia has sought sovereign access to the Pacific Ocean, arguing that its landlocked position has limited its economic opportunities. Although international courts have ruled on parts of the dispute, the issue remains politically important in both countries.
China considers Taiwan to be part of its territory, while Taiwan governs itself with its own political system, military, and economy. The disagreement dates back to the end of the Chinese Civil War in 1949, when the defeated nationalist government relocated to Taiwan. Since then, both sides have developed separately. Although no official border exists between them, the Taiwan Strait has become one of the world's most strategically important dividing lines, with growing military activity raising international concern.
The Korean Peninsula was divided after the Second World War, and the Korean War ended in 1953 with an armistice rather than a peace treaty. The two countries are separated by the Demilitarized Zone, or DMZ, one of the most heavily guarded borders on Earth. Neither government originally accepted the permanent division of the peninsula. While large-scale fighting has not resumed, the border remains a symbol of an unresolved conflict that has lasted for more than 70 years.
The border between India and China stretches across the Himalayas, but large parts of it were never fully agreed upon. China controls Aksai Chin, a high-altitude desert that India considers part of Ladakh. India, meanwhile, administers Arunachal Pradesh, which China claims as South Tibet. The disagreement led to a war in 1962, with China taking control of Aksai Chin. Although the two countries have held many rounds of talks, occasional military standoffs still occur along the line of actual control, making this one of Asia's most sensitive frontiers.
The modern dispute intensified in 2014 when Russia took control of Crimea after political upheaval in Ukraine. Most countries continue to recognize Crimea as part of Ukraine, despite Russia's control. Fighting also began in eastern Ukraine, where Russian-backed separatists declared breakaway regions. The conflict expanded dramatically with Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022, bringing more territory under dispute. The war has reshaped Europe's security landscape and made border recognition a major international issue.
For decades, Denmark and Canada disagreed over ownership of a tiny island between Greenland and Canada. Soldiers from both countries would occasionally visit, remove the other country's flag, and leave behind a bottle of their national drink in what became known as the Whiskey War. In 2022, the two countries peacefully divided the island, turning one of the world's friendliest border disputes into a successful diplomatic solution.
Much of the border between the United States and Mexico follows the Rio Grande River. Over time, the river naturally changes course, creating small disagreements over the exact boundary in certain places. Most of these issues have been settled through joint commissions and treaties, showing how neighboring countries can manage changing natural borders through cooperation.